Hello, Legends of Wrestling fans. I got a great question on the YouTube channel about roster size. It came in from Pete M. And Pete M wanted to know about roster size in my feds. And so what I thought I would do would be to go through all the cards that I use for my Legends feds, because I have 3 of them. I also have Hollywood Elite Wrestling, which is an online-only fed, so that I consider in a separate universe. But these are the cards that I use in my my in-universe Card and Dice Legends of Wrestling game, and these are all of them right here, and you can kind of see the sizes of things. And as we go through this, I'll talk about kind of my philosophy. Not that I'm any sort of expert, but kind of my philosophy on fed size and a tiny bit about booking. First thing I want to talk about is these are my sort of ringside personnel cards. So these are not wrestler or manager cards. These are the ring announcers, ringside interviewers, the referees, all that kind of stuff. So these are the ones that I use. I would say that the bulk of these I use for my Golden State Wrestling fed, which we'll get to next. Every once in a while, I may bring like a Bill Apter or something into one of the other feds. And I know for sure that the Lance Russell card is in here. But anyway, so the first fed is Golden State Wrestling. And Golden State Wrestling has been my absolute longest fed that I have been doing since the Legends of Wrestling came out. I've never rebooted it. I've always had some crazy, interesting booking if I wanted to make any sort of changes. But if we look here, let's see. I can kind of count out here singles and tag teams to give you a little bit of an idea. I used to have a women's division, but that kind of went away. So there's currently not a women's division. And I have a lot of preliminary guys here. They are a tag team, so I'm kind of separating these out here so we can go through and count them. As I said, this is my longest running fed. As you can tell, it is sort of based on WWF, the golden age of WWF, and then these are all managers here. Okay, so singles, current singles, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 19 singles wrestlers, tag team wrestlers, 1, 2. So each one of these is 2, but these are tag teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 19 singles, 9 tag teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 managers. So that's my Golden State Wrestling fed. So let's see, there's 18 guys here, so 19 plus 18 is 37 guys, I think, if I'm doing my math right. So 37 guys total, here in this fed. So that is my longest running fed. The way I'm playing now is I'm kind of borrowing something from Corey Olson, where I'm actually starting with year 6 of my wrestling fed universe. I've actually started dating the cards. So year 6 of my fed is 1980, even though, these guys, a lot of the Powers of Pain, they weren't the Powers of Pain tag team in 1980. But anyway, that's because I want to start doing a year-by-year thing and having a certain number of cards per year, Legends-wise. So, but yeah, this is my longest running fed, and this has started from year 1. My second longest running fed, which hasn't even been running that long, is my Memphis fed, Memphis Championship Wrestling. And so this is a little bit different, just from watching Memphis wrestling. There were some, but there weren't a lot of like set tag teams, at least in the era I'm watching. There's a lot of like spur of the moment tag teams or random partner tag teams, or like good guy and good guy versus bad guy and bad guy. But I'm getting to the point now where I am going to have sort of set tag teams, but they will still be able to break off and wrestle independently. In my Golden State Wrestling Fed, usually a tag team stays a tag team. It's very rare, not saying it doesn't happen, that a tag team will split up and wrestle independently. It has happened, but a lot of the time it does not. Also, I'm going to talk about injuries here in a little bit, because injuries help with roster size, I feel anyway. If the Warlord was injured, Barbarian would sit it out with him. So like the powers of pain would just go away for a little while. But I'll talk about injuries here in a second. So with this Fed, with the Memphis Fed, it's a little bit more singles focused. As you will see, there are tag teams. Like recently, Coco Ware and Bobby Eaton have teamed up as the New Age, I think is the name of them. And like Tommy Gilbert and Eddie Gilbert, I will have as a tag team occasionally. And the Midnight Express will be a tag team occasionally. The original Midnight Express, although one of them is injured right now, so only one of them is wrestling. So here's let's see if we can count up the number of guys I have here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They do not wrestle as a tag team. I may or may not use him. He is just kind of in the pile as a possible card to use. I just didn't want to have to dig him out later if I decided to bring him in for one shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I got about 18 guys there. I guess 19 if you count Prince Karis, who is not on the active roster currently. As I said, I just brought him out to put him in there. I have the Lance Russell card. I have Jimmy Hart's manager card and Jimmy Hart's wrestler card here as well. So, I guess that adds to it. But this is basically the Legends Fed. Now, my final Fed here is my Pacific Northwest Fed. This roster is super stripped down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's only 14 guys here. Really no tag teams. I mean, Buddy Rose and Doug Summers are here, and they may team up for an occasional tag team match, but there's not really any set tag teams. Also, the Destroyer and the Grappler, I have them sort of aligned as masked guys, and so they may form a tag team on occasion. Sorry, I hit the camera there. Apologize for that. So there's that Fed. So these are and I hit the camera again. These are my 3 basic Feds: Golden State Wrestling, Memphis, and Pacific Northwest. Now, to keep a roster size, because part of Pete's question was that his roster size seems bloated. A lot of what I do is, if a card or if a match ends in doubles, I will roll on the feud chart. Not all the time, but most of the time, if it makes sense. If there's the middle of a feud or if it's the beginning of a feud, I will roll on the feud chart in order to there might possibly be an injury in there. I don't shy away from injuries. Sometimes I do if it's a champ and it's like, I don't want this guy to be injured for 10 cards and he's the champ and what am I going to do? Even though I know that happens in real life. But I will also use injuries to kind of cycle guys in and out, especially now that I'm running multiple Feds. And then just if I'm playing and there's some guy who's or some team that's not really doing it for me, and not creating the exciting matches that I hope, then they will go as well. So an example is Bill Irwin. I was using Bill Irwin in Memphis Championship Wrestling, and he was there from day one, Memphis Championship Wrestling. He had a lot of great matches, and then he got injured. And while I was kind of doing storylines and stuff, while he had a big feud with Coco Ware, and while I was doing a lot of storylines and stuff, I was like, you know what? I want Coco to move on. I don't want him to have to keep fighting Bill Irwin. They've had some good matches. I was like, you know what? Bill Irwin's gone. He's gone. He's going to leave. He's going to wrestle for other places. That's not saying he can't ever come back someday, but he's just going to leave. Another thing I'll say, and I've done this a lot in Legends, in my Golden State Wrestling Fed, is when I started this, the Road Warriors, back in those early days, we didn't have a lot of tag teams. So the Road Warriors were very heavily involved in the first couple years of my Golden State Wrestling Fed. And then now that we have so many great sort of WWF-based tag teams, this is a tag team kind of my own creation, but I was just like, you know what? The Road Warriors are going to go somewhere else. And I don't worry about it too much, and I don't necessarily, feel that there has to be some great storyline reason. I've been watching a lot of Memphis wrestling. I've been watching a lot of Mid-South wrestling. And what I've noticed is guys show up, they leave, they're around for a couple weeks, and then they go. So that has really kind of opened up the world of my booking of my feds, because I'm not so upset if somebody leaves. Like, I will tell you right now that unless they go on some giant winning streak, I use them as the Bushwhackers. I know that's probably sacrilege to some people. These guys will probably be rotating out of Golden State Wrestling soon, especially since we have the Moondogs, and they're kind of the same. And we have, I'm recording this right now in August of 2022, and they announced at Galacticon that the December Legends of Wrestling set is going to be sort of a Northeast focused set. And so if there are any sort of tag teams in there that could go here that are more interesting to me, I think the Bushwhackers are going to be taking some time off, so to speak. I've also had Steve Regal actually started out, because I saw him when I was playing my Memphis Fed early on, that he wrestled in Memphis, and he just could not win. He just could not win in Memphis. He lost every single match. And I was like, well, when I started my Pacific Northwest Fed, and I was kind of spreading out the preliminary guys, the jobber guys, so to speak. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give him a chance up in the Pacific Northwest, because he also in real life wrestled there as well, and he actually got a few wins up there. So he's not the champ or anything, but so anyway, that's kind of how I look at booking. These are the cards I use. These are the cards that have really interested me out of all the cards that Legends of Wrestling have released. So there's what did we say, 37, 38 here, 19, 18, or whatever that count was. It was so long ago, I don't remember. But that's kind of what I do. Nobody is set. People can come and go. This Fed has no tag teams. Another thing that I will show you is, and this is an idea I took from Zeke, who is Vegas on the message boards. These are pages that I will fill in eventually. But as you can see here, even for Golden State Wrestling, which is my biggest Fed, these wrestling superstar shows, which are just like the weekend shows, only have 4 matches on them. And actually, it's not even a match. It's a match, an interview segment, and then another match. So here, Primetime Wrestling, I do have 5, well, I guess there's 1 interview in there. So there's 4 matches and an interview. Portland Wrestling, it's pretty much always 4 matches. Every once in a while, I will actually do 3 matches, depending on the size of the venue. So I really keep it 4 or 5 matches, and to me, that seems to be working because I can play out a card in a short amount of time, and nothing really gets too grinding for me. And a lot of times when I was looking at past wrestling results, a lot of old cards had only 5 matches on them, maybe 6 matches, and there was even some that only had 4 matches if it's a spot show or whatever. So I am not too I think my next match here is a big Golden State Wrestling. It'll be the big end of their month kind of super card thing at the Cow Palace, and I think that one may have 8 matches on it, so that won't be pretty big. Like all the titles are defended. That's like the big card. These other ones haven't built up the history that Golden State Wrestling has. So these I see more of, because this book right here has. Let's see if we can get to it. So this is January, right? This is January of 1980. So the next card here will be Golden State Wrestling, and it'll be the final card of 1980. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards for Golden State Wrestling, pretty much a card a week. For Memphis, we have 1, 2 cards per month. That's it. And then, so Golden State Wrestling is 1 card per week. There's 4 cards. Memphis is only 2 cards a month, so bi-weekly. And Portland Wrestling is also only 2 cards a month. So right now, that's how I am doing it. But I will say it has been so much fun having different feds, because that's another way to not sort of get bogged down or tired with making the same matches over and over again, because I'm doing 2 cards a month for these feds and then 4 cards a month for these ones, and that seems to give enough variety. And I even play them out in the schedule, so it's like, now it's time to switch over to Memphis, now it's time to switch over to Pacific Northwest, now it's time for the weekly Golden State Wrestling card. So there you go. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I would love to answer. I mean, I've almost rambled for 20 minutes here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking it all out. And again, any questions? As always, I am not an expert. I have been playing this for a long time, but I would never consider myself an expert on the right way to do things. What I like to do is show you how I do things, and maybe there's something that you like out of what I do, and then you can use it for your Fed, or you can ignore it all and tell me I'm an idiot in the comments. It'll be just like my mom is talking to me. So thank you so much for being in. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you soon.